On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. USS Ronald Reagan is heading into the Gulf area, close to Venezuela, over in the Mediterranean or whatever. They are, well, putting a lot of pressure on, one, Venezuela, of course. Two, they would very easily be able to hit the country right next to them, Colombia, that we're having issues with as well. I still think this ties into putting power near the Panama Canal. There's some rumors floating around that this is also meant to make it difficult for China to get their warships over there and create some of the problems they've been creating, such as the drug trade, bringing in the precursors for fentanyl and things along those lines. This is a huge move, a huge shift of force. This aircraft coming over, or aircraft carrier group coming over here, puts an extraordinarily large amount of firepower right by Cuba, right by Venezuela, right by Colombia, right by a lot of places. And certainly close to Argentina, reasonably so anyways, to where if something happens there, we might be able to help out as well. A lot of things going on, and we've got some shutdown news that's interesting. Some weird happenings around the possibility of World War III. Again, I don't think nukes are going to be able to be used, but we've definitely got one of the ways that they might pull this off if they're able to give a nuclear warhead, or basically a nuclear warhead, to Ukraine, and we know there's some missing ones. If they're able to do that, Ukraine will attempt to nuke Russia. We'll talk about that as well. We've got a lot to get into. Let's tackle it. First off, something funny. Chelsea Clinton, of course, pissed off that Donald Trump's ruining the East Wing. We're going to talk about that, actually, because there's a neat little story behind that. But Chelsea Clinton says the erasure of the East Wing isn't just about marble or plaster. It's about President Trump, again, taking a wrecking ball to our heritage while targeting our democracy and the rule of law. Of course, Donald Trump Jr. couldn't resist. Now, your parents tried stealing furniture and silverware from the White House, and let's not talk about the intern. Sit this one out. Beautiful. Well done. Attorney General Letitia James pleads not guilty to federal bank charges. My faith is strong. Kind of a tough case to win. Were you living there? Was it your primary residence? No? I mean, she probably might lie about those, but then your address shows you've been here. Government might have all sorts of interesting records about her whereabouts. If you spend just over half the time in the other place. And she also called that her primary residence. So she's lying on something. We'll soon find out. In an announcement yesterday, the U.S. Special Envoy for New Jersey referred to an indictment against two individuals for a hack of the U.S. court systems, among other intrusions. So kind of wondering if these are the people that did the Pacer hack back then. I'm kind of wondering, too, if maybe they're the ones that possibly leaked the Supreme Court stuff before it came out, too. But this is a district court, so who knows? Might have been more the Pacer thing. That actually probably makes more sense. Want to remind you guys, of course, of MyPillow. Mike Lindell's fighting the huge fight. He's having all sorts of problems, too, with that. Certainly, you can donate to his legal fund if you would like, but we're still getting some amazing deals. In fact, they've got free shipping now. They've dipped it down to $75 on orders over $75, just continental U.S. only, and it excludes toppers and mattresses. Oh, that's pretty good that they put that in there, because I try to get people to take advantage of that all the time, and the shipping on those has to be extraordinary. So, all right, that said, best towels ever. They're back in stock, $39.98. You're going to love this six-piece towel set. It's the best towels you're ever going to use, unless you get the premium towel set, which is actually slightly better. But these are the best towels you will have ever used. Also, the closeout sale, let's call it that. It's still happening with the Percale bed sheets, any size, any color, $29.88 out the door. That's incredible. While supplies last, and I don't think they're going to last much longer. Also, the My Slippers, $39.98 is a price you're not going to see ever again until they run out. I mean, it's been like this for a month, but what happens is once it goes, and you'll be bummed. This is one of those things. Like, you should try. These are awesome slippers. They're just incredible slippers. In fact, I got one right here. The fuzz in these things. Look at this. It is thick fuzz. See if I can really give it a good angle, right? You see that thickness? You see that? That is wildly thick. It's awesome. Extraordinarily comfortable. It's like a 7-layer sole. It's stitched on the side. It is very durable. It's like rubber. You can wear them outside. I don't recommend it, but my girlfriend, the ones she destroys, they became the outdoor shoes, right? Because she takes her shoes off when she comes here, and she wears slippers inside the house, and then when she gets to carpet of any kind, like a couple carpet throw rugs, right? takes them off, leaves them right next to the carpet where she's at, and then puts them back on the second she gets to the wood floors, right? When she goes outside, she puts on her outside shoes. Fortunately, she's got 2 pair right now. I need to get another pair, frankly, for her, because she's going to blow through them. They've got the pillows free right now, practically. Frankly, $17.98. It's an incredible deal for their premium, my-quality pillow. Also, their regular knife's edge one, they call it. $14.98 it starts at. So again, just incredible products. 50% off his cross if you want to get a nice sterling silver, beautiful cross. If you've either got the black inner with the silver outer or a white inner with a black outer. Very beautiful. The socks, again, just everything they make with cotton is incredible. The socks felt really good. I haven't put them on my feet yet. When the world got crazy, you guys remember that back during COVID and stuff? I had a couple bucks at the time. I was working a lot, and I was still working for the other company and everything else, right? And I was living in my condo, so I was doing really well, actually. And I bought a lot of things that I thought were important that might be hard to get a hold of. Socks was one of them. I bought lots of socks, like 12-pack. I probably still got 10 12-packs. I got a bunch of socks. And then I bought like a 3-pack of My Pillow socks, and I haven't tried them yet. So, again, forgive me. I am an abundance of socks in my particular case. These are nicer, though, and I'd rather have more of these than the ones I got. All said, more info than necessary. Again, My Pillow clothing. They've just got some really cool stuff. You want to hit the site. You want to go to mypillow.com/OTF. You want to check it out. They got the bath mats. They've always got cool stuff in here. You definitely, the beach towels are really big, by the way. They're very, very big. Really good towel if you're trying to save some money. It's a towel that can be used for multiple purposes. It'll dry you off out of the shower just as good as any other towel. I'm just saying. Again, they got blankets and everything else. Incredible stuff going on with MyPillow. You want to go to mypillow.com/OTF. That's mypillow.com/OTF. Check out the Rev 7 energy drink, too. If you're somebody that likes to work out, this stuff's great. No calories. It's not going to get you out of ketosis, and it's got very little salt. It's it's awesome. The chemical that it uses to give you energy is the same energy chemical inside your body when you go to the gym without eating carbs anyways. I think just as your body's like basically breaking down the fat, and the chemical it uses to do that is what's in there. So it gives you energy. It's a trip, or actually the chemical that breaks down and creates the energy. That whatever that is, that's what's in there. I don't know. All I can say is it's awesome. It works really well. It's delicious too. It's got way too much flavor. It's surprisingly delicious. They're just really good. Anyway, mypillow.com/OTF. mypillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you've ever had. We got some shame coming. That's for sure. Now I kind of just want to point these few things out. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these, but here, Carville, we know this guy, right? This guy's a pile of trash. He's like if you ever imagine a dude wearing the Ku Klux Klan outfit and then being inside and be like, you all out there, and right? Like, it's him. It's his voice. Like, this is the caricature of the KKK person, even though he's hiding in plain sight. But Trump collaborators should be shaved and paraded down Pennsylvania Avenue in orange pajamas, or basically orange jumpsuits, like we're in jail, and then the public should spit on us. This is what their side wants to do to the majority of the country. I mean, overwhelming majority, if we don't count all the illegal people whose opinions don't matter. Leftist student threatens Turning Point USA activist at University of Arizona, says, "Watch your neck."
Somewhere where I can avoid you easily?
Yeah, thank you. Have a great day.
Nah, fuck you, Nazi. Watch your neck.
Thanks.
Wow. Such a keeper. Democrat Texas State Rep Jones, on fighting the GOP, says, "I'll go across your neck." I don't think I'm going to play it, but she's saying that. Senator Cory Booker blames Trump for food stamp cuts caused by Schumer's shutdown. Literally, they shut down the government. Now they're blaming Trump because SNAP's going to run out of money. Here's Illinois Governor Pritzker. ICE agents are literally grabbing and tackling people who are citizens. Again, detaining somebody's one thing. And if you're a legal citizen that happens to be in the presence of a bunch of illegals, yeah, you're going to get detained or tackled if you try to run. So again, I don't give a shit if, quote, citizens are being detained. But again, this is them playing it up, right? And here he is, by the way, with Soros Jr., little baby Soros. It's hard to tell which one's which, isn't it? Good God. How many little baby Soroses could you fit inside of J.B. Pritzker? I'm going to certainly say 4. That's my answer. I bet he could eat him like a piece of corn on the cob. Nancy Pelosi, with her tiger hands, says local police may arrest federal agents for excessive use of force. That's how she's going to fight them back. I don't even have my camera on. Yeah, I should have turned that back on. But yes, her tiger hands are going to stop everything. She says they're going to arrest them, ICE agents, with local police. First off, when I saw this article, I laughed. I'm like, the hell not? The hell you won't. That would be interesting. And I don't even think I don't think the police would follow that. That'd be an illegal order. But whatever. Tiger hands. You can't say no to tiger hands. We'll get Pam Bondi had a response to her in particular. DHS rebukes California Democrats' plan to launch ICE tracker to dox immigration agents. It's actually illegal to do that. It's putting families in danger. It's illegal to dox federal agents like that. And if you're supporting that as a Congress member, as a state, you're supporting illegality. California is fighting the fight here, poorly, I might add. And they're certainly going to lose a lot of support. Here's a dude that was driving a U-Haul truck backwards. This is here in California, down by, I want to say up by Frisco, sorry. Up, down's relative to where you are, but relative to me, it's above. And there is a Coast Guard base up there, and this is close to where one of the ICE facilities are located. The people, the anti-ICE protesters, wanted to get in there. Coast Guard set up basically a blockade. These guys were trying to back in this U-Haul thing and then kind of came in far. We're going to play it. It's about 41 seconds. I just wanted to make sure you sort of had an idea what happens. This is, again, the left that's completely fired up. And nobody seems to care at all. I don't know why I can't. There we go. Let's try that again.
Dude, Billy, they gotta shoot that thing.
Now, supposedly the dude just parks the car down at the base of the hill or wherever the hell they're at and gets out and just leaves it there. If you're paying attention, though, it is interesting. There is a spot where I swear it looks like a bullet comes through the glass. See that? That sure looks like a bullet went through the back of the van out the front glass. And that's pretty much when the dude hit the pedal to the metal. Kind of like, oh, dude, this is getting real, right? He thought he had protection behind him, obviously not knowing how high caliber and high-powered rifles work, especially at close range. Needless to say, I'm surprised they didn't actually manage to injure him. Johnson is calling Dems legislative terrorists. We've got Cory Booker now telling everybody that that's going to get somebody killed. All their crazy rhetoric, and we're just essentially saying that the Democrats are holding the government hostage. I don't even know if we've called you terrorists outright yet. I mean, you are, for sure. And you can't negotiate with terrorists, but, I mean, whatever. Shoe does definitely fit. All said. Burned body found hanging from Houston Railroad freeway overpass. This very much seems like a cartel thing. Houston, I feel like, is, I mean, it's a border state, obviously, but it's reasonably far from the border, right? Aren't it? Kind of. Not right next to it like some of the cities, but needless to say, to have the cartels that have that much presence all the way inland, or further inland anyways, and also with the effect of it being Texas, the cartels are embedded deep, and Texas will be one that probably will take care of itself, and this could very well be one of the things that might arguably drum up the Texas governor to finally do something about what's happening in Texas and declaring war on the cartels. That's going to be an interesting battle, and they might want to get the Trump administration to help out with that when they do it. Again, how that plays out, we'll see. I'm going to trust them on it, not so much my opinion. We've got 3 ICE agents in San Diego that have been seriously injured following a car ramming. Again, they continue to attack. They're saying we're firing it up by saying they're holding the government hostage, but they're actually doing harm to people that have families and kids. Just because they're wearing a badge and a uniform doesn't mean it's okay to shoot them and try to hit them with cars.
3 federal officers have been heard after a driver who ICE claims is in the country illegally allegedly rammed one of their cars. It happened yesterday in San Diego. According to the ICE San Diego field office, he was wanted in his home country of Kuwait and has a violent criminal history. The officers and the man were treated at a local hospital. ICE says it will be pursuing criminal charges. 3 federal...
Oh, cool. He's from Kuwait, too. How fantastic is that? Another country that we've pissed off. Well, less so than others, but AG Pam Bondi warns Pelosi, Democrats in general, for threatening officers. It's a crime. You cannot disclose the identity of federal agents, where they live, or of anything that can harm them. Pelosi got a letter today from Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. So did Brooke Jenkins, that DA district attorney in San Francisco. We will not tolerate threats to arrest federal agents engaged in enforcing immigration laws enacted by Congress. If you touch our agents, you'll be arrested. So we'll see, but they're talking a lot of blow over here, and that blow ain't going to have any go. That's all I can say. Pam Bondi, we've got some stuff. She's been chatting up on a couple of these television shows.
They got these letters today in California because they cannot impede a federal investigation. They cannot impede federal officers doing their jobs. They're out there risking their lives every single day and night to keep the people of California safe. Yet these lawmakers are insane. They're truly insane by what they're doing. And Donald Trump is not going to put up with it. We are going to protect our men and women in blue. We're going to protect all of our law enforcement agents. And these politicians aren't going to get away with it anymore.
No, because it's illegal. And this is the thing. The game is changing. President Trump on reports that there might be a grand jury deliberating Adam Schiff's fraud with mortgage.
Speaking of Democrats, there's a report that there's a grand jury on Adam Schiff for apparent mortgage fraud. If he is indicted, should he step down as a U.S. Senator?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that. I would just say Adam Schiff is one of the lowest forms of scum I've ever dealt with in politics. He's a horrible human being, very dishonest person. I have no idea what's going on. You tell me that he's going to be indicted. I don't know. You could ask Pam. I don't know if she could say it. Probably you are allowed to say it, but I wouldn't know about that. I can only tell you he's a very bad. I think he's actually a sick person. Do you want to talk about that?
We're not going to comment on any grand jury that's open. We can't legally.
I don't know. By the way, I hope it's true, but I don't know anything about it.
I hope it's true. Damn straight. You and many of us, even though it still seems like kind of like low-hanging crap fruit, still, it's a step in the right direction, nonetheless. We'll see. I'm so friggin' excited about doing the music show today. It's just over 3 hours from now, barely over 3 hours and 7 minutes. Not that I'm counting. Doing Kiss because of Freely dying. Just such a good show, man. I was just gonna do like 3-4 Kiss songs, and I ended up grabbing like 8 of them. So I'm excited. It's gonna be really fun. Got Lick It Up stuck in my head too, because that's the one I did with the thumbnail. So anyway, whatever. It's kind of moot because very few of you will see this before the live show. But needless to say, please come join us. It's gonna be a lot of fun today. Here is, what is it, Duffy? That's this guy. I think it's Sean Duffy. I'm trying to learn all these people's names. Too many names, people. But yeah, he's talking about the CDLs and how, yeah, there it is, Sean Duffy, how easy they are to get. It's a pretty good segment. Check it out.
Again, the driver that we're mentioning in Florida, he didn't speak English. 3 or 4 road signs he couldn't read, and a clear violation of the rule. So the question becomes, if you can't understand English, you can't understand road signs, how in the heck can you ever pass a test to be issued a commercial driver's license? You can't do it but for fraud. And so that is another investigation that we have undertaken to find out who are the good companies, who are the fraudulent bad companies, and we have to root them out. Again, you should expect to be safe when you're on the road. And by the way, John, it's these very foreign drivers with these kind of licenses that don't just drive the big rig or the tanker. They're also driving school buses, getting behind the wheel, taking kids to and from school, and there's no certainty that they actually have the skills to drive those vehicles. They understand the English language to stay safe when they're on the roadways. So a whole bunch of issues at play. And again, this comes under the backdrop of Joe Biden and Democrats Democrats letting 10 to 15 million illegals in the country. And now Gavin Newsom and others are bending over themselves to allow them to get commercial driver's licenses. And again, Trump administration, Donald Trump has said, we put America first. We are going to stop this charade. No more licenses until we can figure out how many problems we have in the system. And so Gavin didn't follow it. We put the rule out, and now we're going to take his money. We have other steps after money that we can take with California, but I want them to comply, John.
Yeah, we all do. Again, follow the law is what it's about. It's not trying to force behavior. Again, I think that's important to point out, just because our side and their side both like to try to force people to behave a certain way. I think we got to be careful on that. It is freedom, right? As long as you're not treading on me, I won't tread on you, don't tread on me, that kind of thing. That's freedom. That's true freedom. Outside of that, if I'm accidentally treading on you, you got a right to accidentally get pissed at me. Shocking examples of non-citizens on voter rolls boost push for citizen check for elections. This is, I guess, a dual revelation that an illegal alien school administrator from Iowa made it onto the voter rolls in Maryland, and that over 2,700 non-citizens escaped strict voter ID checks to qualify to vote in Texas, are creating new momentum for creating a nationwide citizenship check for elections. Many folks want to see this happen, so hopefully that is one of the things we do see move forward with it. It's one of these things we need to make noise about. The elections is, in my opinion, like worrying about who's going to win the presidency, by the way, in over 3 years. Who's going to replace Trump? Okay, if you're asking that question and that's your biggest concern, you are so ridiculously far in the future. Seriously, do me a favor and smack yourself in the face, because you need to get on board with what's really the problem. We need to make sure our next midterm election is fair. If we can't accomplish that, we lose Congress. We're screwed. Okay? So, most important thing that's about to happen is just about 1 year from now. That is the single most important thing that we all need to be rippling about over the next year. Sure, you can have some other things you're concerned about. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to control your life. But this is arguably the single most important thing that we're fighting for right now. If we get a fair election in our next election, we win. We win the 80-20. That's what we need. We need 80-20 vote. It needs to be overwhelming. We need a bunch of these Dems to come over and become independents, and then all of us need to vote together. We got about 20% of the population that ain't going to make it. That's fine. Who cares? They can get all mad and rowdy all they want. Most of them aren't going to do anything because they're either too old or it won't matter. And the few that do anything will nail them. They'll be done. So we have to push big time. Researchers find TikTok algorithm favors pro-Mamdani content. Of course, the algorithm is communist from China trying to fuck with our country. Hello. If anybody's surprised about this, apparently someone at the National Post obviously is. Okay. California is going to invest $140 million in Planned Parenthood to compensate for the losses of federal funds. Wait, we got money in this state to just throw around? Really, Gavin Newsom? $140 million? Pretty sure some of the roads could get fixed a little better. I'm pretty sure bridges could be repaired a little better. Hell, go build another mile of stupid track on this train that you're never, ever going to finish. Obviously, that's never going to happen, but just being a dick to you, Gavin Dickhole. This dude's out of control. $140 million. Planned Parenthood? And you want to give like Medi-Cal and stuff to people that aren't even legal citizens, and you're giving away money to an abortion clinic. You don't even want to give it to like Medi-Cal or, I don't know, the teacher's pension fund that you didn't match, or some pension fund you didn't match this year because you guys don't have the money. You're doing some fancy accounting where you're going to put off paying the last couple of years worth of money. Oh, they are. People that are in pensions in this state are, well, most states, all states, by the way. If you have a state pension, yeah, whatever you think the numbers are is not true. I'm just going to say, I'm not trying to bum you out, but whatever they say the number is, no, it's not true. They've been robbing from it. They have been stealing from it. Oh, your pension fund is not what they claim at all. It's promised on a lot of stuff. It's promised on growth of population, so they're trying to bring in more foreign workers to help with that. But again, all of this is. It's funny is they're literally fighting for people that aren't even legal citizens of this country. They've abandoned the people of the country in favor of non-citizens because this is who they've pandered to. This is all they got. They don't have enough numbers. There's just not enough of them. And most frankly, most people that are here, most of them, are probably decent people. Definitely a bunch of criminals that have come in also, but not like overwhelming number of them. NATO jets were scrambled over Lithuania after Russian aircraft breaches the airspace, they say. First off, almost 100% guarantee Russia did not breach the airspace. It might have come within the 2 miles of the coast or something like that. And they feel that that's too close, but it's not technically breaching airspace. It's breaching the economic zone, which Russia's doing it intentionally. I think Russia's almost hoping that somebody shoots at them, not so that they can attack them, just so they can demonstrate it's not us. We're not the ones with the itchy fingers. Thank God it's not. Anyway. So this is an attempt to start World War III. Oh, I got better. UK Starmer. And we'll go ahead and play his stupid little minute here. I can't generally stand this dude, but whatever.
So I'm pleased that we're accelerating our UK programme to provide Ukraine with more than 5,000 lightweight missiles. This means we can deliver an additional 140 missiles ahead of schedule to boost Ukraine's defences through the depths of winter. Fourth, we need to keep up the military pressure on Putin through the continued provision of long-range capabilities. And we've all seen just how effective these capabilities are. And finally, while now is the time to prioritise pressure, we must keep working on our security guarantees where we've made so much progress in recent months, including the multinational force Ukraine, so we're ready to uphold a future peace. Vladimir, the Coalition of the Willing is with you every step of the way. Together we will keep backing Ukraine so you can head into winter and into potential negotiations from a position of maximum strength. That's how we'll reach a just and lasting peace.
So, Ukrainians are dying by the thousands a week. Ukrainians are losing ground by the week, literally. Ukrainians are definitely getting in some punches and jabs. Got an example or two of that. We'll do that later. But for the most part, Ukraine's getting rocked by Iskander missile attacks and everything else under the sun. Starmer bringing in more long-range missiles basically just creates a problem between England and Russia now, which who knows how that's going to play out. Sabotage is a common way, I would assume, to mess with England without being, obvious. But all of this to pander to this war that Ukraine is losing. They're losing people, losing dollars, losing money, losing, everything. Losing land. And they're hell-bent on moving forward. Trump and Putin have damn near put peace together. Literally, Europe and Zelensky are fighting the peace because they keep insisting that Russia's the aggressor and should be punished. But Russia's winning the war. So how many more people are you willing to kill, Keir Starmer, before you finally realize maybe we should push peace? Once Russia's all the way to Kiev, and then you're negotiating with Putin, I guess? I don't know. It's been... I can't think of another country taking over another country in my lifetime. At least that I can think of. Not sure how that plays out. International war and rules of war and all that nonsense. Zelensky touts successful test of its Flamingo homegrown cruise missile. The Flamingo. I hope it sounds way cooler. I hope flamingos are like ferocious in Ukraine or something. Oh, flamingo, yeah. Those pink birds, fuck yeah, they'll chase you down and kill you. Like geese here in the United States, or probably Canada too. That mofo, they'll chase you down. They are mean little big bastards, mean big bastards. They're actually intimidating. The flamingo? They just stand on one leg all day, don't they? We're out in people's yards. I don't know if those are real or not. Driving Florida, everyone seems to have flamingo everywhere. This thing can be nuclear tipped. They don't have nukes anymore that we know of. But if someone gave them one, or if one of those missing ones ended up in their hands, guess where they could put it? On an F-16, if it's an American or Western nuclear bomb. Or they could put it on this thing and try to deliver it that way. Now, it's not that accurate, but, like they say, you don't need to be accurate when it comes to horseshoes, hand grenades, or nuclear weapons. And probably pregnancy. I don't know, the person that used to always say that, and one other thing I can't talk about, he used to say it in school. And I always wondered, what's that other thing? I assumed it was pregnancy. Because I thought I got someone pregnant one time. And boy, oh boy, that was a scary moment in time. Whew. Scared me. Mm-hmm. What students must learn about energy. So this article represented just a talking point. One of the things that I think is so strange is this push for green energy. Just using CO2, which I think is erroneous just from the get-go. CO2 represents something like 0.4% of the atmosphere. It's just such a minuscule amount of the atmosphere. Water vapor is a significantly larger greenhouse gas than CO2. Significantly larger. By volume, by what it does, the fact that it makes clouds and those reflect sunlight. Like, it has more to do with the greenhouse than anything else. Traps energy in. CO2 is definitely not a big deal, whatever the case is. We can't use gas because that releases CO2, even though natural gas is one of the cleanest things, and CO2 in water is great. And you're like, that's a perfect release. CO2, the trees are going to eat, and the oxygen we're going to eat, and water is always good. It makes rain, so there we go. Life's awesome. But they want to go to all these things like solar, the props, right? Wind. Why? All these things have so much technology involved to them. They're horribly inefficient. They're extraordinarily expensive. They're very dirty to make. Mostly requires us to buy it from China. And frankly, don't work that well. And have to be replaced within about 10 years. Why haven't we put more effort in creating safe nuclear? Nuclear creates nothing. Nothing. Just electricity. It doesn't even make water vapor. Oh, it kind of does with the cooling, but whatever. It doesn't release any CO2 at all. Zero. And they're reasonably clean to make. We've already got a bunch of this fuel because we like to make bombs. Done. Why haven't we? It would work. It's efficient. It would allow growth. And it wouldn't take up nearly as much space. I mean, sure, a giant power plant, gigawatt power plant, certainly takes up, from what I understand, about 2 square miles of space. It's about right. I think that's close to what San Onofre's overall space was. But it's extraordinarily efficient for all sorts of distance. And when you talk about to get gigawatts of power, how many panels you need? Well, you need way more than 2 square miles worth. And those have to be replaced, or God forbid you get a hailstorm, or whoops, if it's cloudy. Nuclear works constantly. Why don't we do that? It's an intentional thing to get us to destroy ourselves in the West, chasing something that's stupid and making China rich all along while it's making nuclear power plants, coal power plants, and everything else. This was always just insanity. But welcome to, 2025? Soon to be 2026. Donald Trump talking about the Democrats losing their friggin' minds. That's about right.
I think the Democrats have gone totally crazy, and you don't know what they're going to do because they don't care about the people. They don't. I really think they have no leadership. They have a lot of very low IQ people. Jasmine Crockett is a low IQ person. A lot of them are. I don't want to insult too many of them, but a lot of them are. They have no rudder. I don't think they know what they're doing right now. They've never done this before. They always agreed to go and, call it an extension. Let's do an extension and talk. Even today, look at what happened today. They don't want to pay the people that have worked. And, this was supposed to be this was a test. And they wouldn't pay the people that have been working. They said, no, we don't want to pay them. This is all the Democrats. Now, all we need is 5 Democrats. And I know a lot of Democrats that are saying they're more than 5. Probably not that many more than 5, but they're more than 5. And all we need is like 5 Democrat votes so we open our country again. Sad, though, we have the greatest economy in our history. We have the highest stock market. All these things are rocking. We will have, by the end of my first year, more than $20 trillion of investment. The all-time record is $3 trillion. I think it's China. We're going to have $20 or $21 trillion. We've never had anything like it coming in because of tariffs. the money pouring into our country, the plants that are opening, AI, automobiles, everything. And the Democrats want to close our country. They're really, they say deranged. They suffer. I guess it's Trump derangement syndrome, which I think is going down now as an official condition by the doctors. I think they get paid extra money if they handle it because it's more difficult to handle than a normal mental disease. But you know what? They really should approve an extension, get the country back to work, get the people paid. And, it's very simple. You just don't know what's going on. There's something wrong with them. Yeah, it's sad, actually.
He should do Operation Warp Speed for a vaccine for the Trump derangement syndrome. That right? That could actually change the world. Make everybody super happy. Donald Trump revealing his anonymous donor that has sent a check for $130 million to pay for our military. He's got some rich friends. I wonder if it was Musk. Kind of think it might have been, but he was wise to keep his who it is quietly. But yeah, this is a big tax write-off, that's for sure.
A friend of mine, talking about donors, a friend of mine, a man that's great. I'm not going to use his name unless he lets me do it. Susie can tell you about this, but he called us the other day and he said, I'd like to contribute any shortfall you have because of the Democrat shutdown. I'd like to personally contribute any shortfall you have with the military because I love the military and I love the country. And any shortfall, if there's a shortfall, I'll contribute it. And today he sent us a check for $130 million. Do you share who that is? I would love to tell you. He doesn't really want the recognition, if you want to know the truth. But he gave us a check for $130 million. And that's going to go to which was sort of a shortfall, yeah. And that's going to go to the military, yeah.
And what's your message? $130 million just for a month for the military. Gulp. But that gives us negotiation power. Again, the deep state is trying to weaken us through this shutdown. As the time progresses with the shutdown, it actually starts to screw with them. At those points, Trump's allowed to start to get rid of things. Again, contracts start to expire. Things start to dry up. Things start to fade if things don't happen in certain periods of time. And shutdowns extended longer than normal could have deleterious consequences. Now, I'm going to assume it's probably closer to the 60-day window, but I would also assume there's probably a number of positions that they're able to thin down just in general since government shut down. That's just a thinning, a reduction of force, right? So you get a RIF, and you're also going to find certain places that contractually you're likely able to get rid of legally. And like he says, they got the best lawyers in the world working on this, trying to figure out when and how, and everything is exactly timing. It's timed by the date and everything else. So again, tariffs will also come into play. We're getting billions of dollars of tariffs. So this poor guy that had to pay $130 million just to keep the military afloat for a month, or at least paychecks out. I think the rest of it's just, they're paying for themselves or whatever. But that is a chunk of money. And we're getting billions from tariffs. So when the Supreme Court sees the tariff case, which is coming up, Trump talks about that here in a little bit. When that happens, and it's proven okay for Trump to have tariffs, that's it. And if the government is still closed down at that point, Trump's got so many options. The Dems are screwed. Now we don't have to come to the table. We can pay the people we want to pay, and we can actually start to get rid of government. Now, again, that's a pipe dream at the moment, and I'm only going to believe it when I see it. But that actually looks possible. To me, the most likely scenario to get to where we've been talking we're supposed to get. Again, I've seen people talk the Brunson case a lot. Brunson case was a neat idea, but it never had. There's no way they would have been able to pull it off. There's way too many people involved. What's happening now and the chipping away, it's going to work better in the big picture. But shutting down the money, controlling where it goes, we're destroying them. 5 key days to watch during the shutdown. October 24th, which is today. No paychecks for many workers. Many workers did not get their first paycheck today. So that starts to become a hardship period. October 28th, no pay for air traffic controllers. That's going to be interesting. Now, I think, have a video of Duffy talking about that. But ultimately, long story, is He's hoping they'll go to work. They've asked them to go to work, but they can't make them go to work. Indentured servitude. You can't make somebody work for free. Now, if we've got tariff money we can use, we might be able to pay for some things, or maybe they can shift some money for air traffic control to buy a few more days. SNAP's another one. October 31st, no pay for active duty military. This one I think has been kind of fixed. And a lot of active duty, they're kind of taken care of on the boat. They may not get cash while they're out at sea right now, but people that are, I think, based here in the United States, for sure, probably. Certainly some money maybe for the parents. Well, a lot of times there's a mom and a kid at home, but if they live on base, it depends. There's a lot of factors, and I don't know a lot of. I'm not the expert by any means, but I've had just numerous friends in the military and very, very close family members in the military, so a little bit of knowledge, not a lot. November 1st, changes in federal benefits. This is the Affordable Care Act marketplace, I think, is when that's expected to open back up. That's going to be a very significant date as well. Also, changes to the food stamp program. You guys remember how we were going to make people work or prove that they could work or weren't working or whatever, right? And they either had to volunteer that whatever. There's also differences with their kids. The kids, if a kid was over 13, now you've got to actually be working or something, part-time or whatever, or volunteering. So all of that kicks in November 1st. That begins already. So again, if they can find a way to fund or pay for some of the SNAP stuff, that would be awesome. But these changes they put in supposedly are going to save. This changes will cut federal funding for SNAP by $187 billion. Well, through 2034. So over, 10 years basically. This will cut $187 billion. That's incredible. I'm sure with some of the other changes, we're trying to make them healthy and trying to eat healthier food, yada, yada, yada. All those things are going to help kind of in the big picture, but that's a lot of savings, right? So these changes go into effect, effective November 1st. This is beautiful. Republican, short guy, Fetterman, Democrat, who, again, you guys, everyone, people are just, we got to be more malleable, guys. Got to go by people's actions. People's actions speak louder than anything else. Thomas Massey's an asshole. His actions prove it. Marjorie Taylor Greene, most of the time she's good, but every once in a while on key times she comes out as an asshole. I don't know why. Who's the other one? Rand Paul. I don't know what happened to him. Don't know what happened to him. That bums me out. It's probably pharma money, maybe. Who knows? Who's from the other one? Tuberman almost kind of got me the other day, but I don't know. I don't know. Whatever the case is. This dude has pissed off his entire party for the most. Well, this dude, how to start a movement. This is the crazy dude with the shirt off that was the first dancer. Really, I want to give that to Manchin, but okay, maybe he's the second guy. This guy is changing the Democrat Party, at least those who are willing to step out and become whatever. They want to make some weird independent party, independent Democrats or some stupid thing. I don't care, whatever, right? You're going to be a third party. You're going to be an out party anyway, so it won't matter. You want to make sure you're not part of the independent party or not a Republican, whatever. Who gives a shit? It's not going to matter. Just make sure you're not saying you're one of them. That's more important at this point in time. Whatever the case is, I thought this was beautiful. It almost made me tear up. Almost.
Here we are in Washington, D.C., and it is shut down. But now here, it's both Pennsylvania's voice here in the U.S. Senate, even though we are in a different party. And we both want to talk about why we believe it's so important to reopen this government.
23 days, 12 votes. Senator Fetterman and I have both voted to open up the government. We agree on that 100%. It's really starting to hurt Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, it's air traffic controllers, border patrol, and also 2 million recipients of SNAP. We've got to get the government open. That's our main responsibility. And I'd say that regardless of what party's in the majority.
So I think our votes are about country over party at this point. And now we have 2 million Pennsylvanians that rely on SNAP. That's gonna stop. And now you can reopen this government and have an earnest conversation about extending those tax credits. We know we're gonna participate in this process. That's why we both vote to open up our government. We're in a different party. We're on the same team for Pennsylvania and our nation.
Pennsylvanians expect it. Pennsylvanians deserve it.
Right? Am I wrong? That's freaking awesome. I wish we could see that anywhere else. Everywhere else. Kumbaya, man. Beautiful. Actions. Actions speak. Okay? Words mean shit. I don't care what they did last week. What are they doing right now? People can change. Allow people to change, especially all the people out there that are like, all you got to do is just accept. Right? Okay, cool. Then allow people to change. You have to. You have to. Be like Christ. Let people change. Let people grow. Let people learn. Everybody else is a creator out there, for those of you who follow my Law of One stuff. Who are you to comment on their creation? Just don't do what they do if that's what you want. But forgive and love them for what they're attempting to do. You know, I don't want to play this chick's whole 4 minutes, and I don't know when it says what it says on the thing here. But Democrats keep government shut down to protect billion-dollar insurance companies. This was a very interesting little thing I wasn't aware of. A D.C. lobbyist reveals the real reason behind the government shutdown isn't healthcare. It's dark money from giant insurance companies. While federal workers and military personnel go without pay, insurers like United Healthcare, remember the shooting, Aetna, Kaiser, and Molina continue receiving mandatory monthly payments from the Treasury. The shutdown ensures these billion-dollar corporations keep billions in ACA tax credits and control premiums, while hardworking Americans and the military suffer. This is not about health care. It is about corporate profits. It's 100%. Second, the government gets involved in paying for stuff, it instantly becomes more expensive. If people can't afford to pay for it, they have to lower the prices. They have to. And I don't want to say force it to, but when they expose how much corruption has been happening, then that should force at least all the corruption part out of it. Bare minimum, right? And then we can go back to pre-corruption money, which we all could afford back then. Just to point that funny part out. Canada fucked up. I'm just going to say it. Sorry, Canadians. The Ronald Reagan Foundation has just announced that Canada has fraudulently used an advertisement, which is fake, featuring Ronald Reagan speaking negatively about tariffs. The ad was for $75 million. They only did this to interfere with the decision of the U.S. Supreme Court and other courts. Tariffs are very important to the national security and economy of the USA. Based on their egregious behavior, all trade negotiations with Canada are hereby terminated. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump. Let me subtitle in there. Fuck you. Y'all better get really, really pissed because they misquoted, they miscut it. The United States is wealthy, powerful, and nationally secure again, all because of tariffs. The most important case ever is the United States Supreme Court. God bless America. I hope this comes out this week. I hope. It's going to come out. I know it's going to come out in favor of tariffs. There's just no way around it. Period. And this will be an almighty moment. Almighty moment. And I'm so curious. The stock market's going to love that. I think it should. I think everything's going to love it. You know, gold and silver will probably go down that day, right? The currency will strengthen. But again, everything's short-lived. There's so much shit that's on the radar, folks. But again, the stock market is minute by minute. Like, what emotional thing happened? Just, They're constantly seeing squirrels. That's basically what they are. That's in a nutshell. So tariffs are awesome. It's national security. Canada is trying to illegally influence the United States Supreme Court in one of the most important rulings in our history of our country. Canada has long cheated on tariffs, charging our farmers as much as 400%. Now they and other countries can't take advantage of the U.S. any longer. Thank you to Ronald Reagan Foundation for exposing this fraud. Make America great again. Halts the trade talks. Who is the company? I think they're the ones that... Yeah, Ontario. Anyone surprised? Right? In Quebec? The Quebecois? The French? The most Frenchy French part of Canada? Anyone surprised? Why is it always them? Because they're still tied to the crown the most, I think, aren't they? Maybe I'm wrong on that. I know they're still with the king, don't get me wrong, but, well, then that's likely still through Ontario, forcing French on people. Everyone in Canada's got to write everything in both languages. It's stupid. Anyways, tell us how you feel, Dan. Maybe I will. Cooler than expected, CPI data leaves Fed on track for rate cuts. The CPI was 0.1% lower than they thought it would be. And it's come down, so it's down to 3%, our inflation, which is actually not good. Stupid, in fact, that we're still losing 3% of our buying power every single year, month, however that's really factored. I don't exactly know how that's calculated, but I know it's year over year, and they change it month over month. And anyway, so our dollar's constantly going down. That's just easily said. Constantly losing value. We're supposed to get possibly 2 25 basis point cuts or 0.25% cuts coming up. We should be finding out about one of them. Usually it's like the first week or so of the month, it seems. But coming up soon, and then likely we'll get one more in December, which is kind of what I've been figuring. Well, I thought they'd hang a little longer, but they kind of really couldn't. But whatever the case is, the numbers are not playing out the way they keep fearing. Tariffs are going to cause inflation. It's not seeming to happen at all. Now, of course, right now they're going to go, well, it's probably because the government shut down. Theoretically, all that money has to be paid back anyway, they're saying. I don't think that's going to be that way, but we'll see. President Trump is bringing government spending down. This is a very cool graph. Q2 of 2024, which was Biden. They were, plus like 6% change year over year from the year before. They were spending more money. Q3, they went up 27% year over year in one quarter. The following quarter, they're up about a solid 10% year over year. And the next quarter, Q1 of 2025, they're up 8% year over year. First quarter for Trump, barely up. I don't even know what it is. Second quarter, we're down year over year. So for all the people out there, Trump's not doing anything. Bullshit. And you obviously don't know nothing about mechanics of economies if you think things can change that quickly. This is a giant ship. It's an aircraft carrier, and you're trying to do a 180 with it. I mean, granted, those things actually, it's kind of a bad example, but they surprisingly can whip around, but still, it's an impressive feat. Trump is doing some pretty amazing stuff, so maybe it is similar to a carrier. It is a lot to turn around, and he's doing it. They've fought him every step of the way, and he's gotten this far. Think about when the gloves have finally come off. Think about it. There's over $20 trillion of investment that's supposed to come into this country over the next few years. Trump's going to want to be here for all that. You shitting me? He's still got a solid 3 years. Look what he's done so far. He came in running. He came in hitting. We're screaming right now. Life is freaking awesome. We still got a bump in the night. The deep state's got to get jacked. I was just listening to a thing about the 13 Illuminati families. It's very interesting this morning. And again, we got a break from the Fed. That's who, one of those families, a couple of those families are owners of that. This is where they make their money, is off the debt. We got to get out of this nonsense. I don't know how we do it. I don't know if we BK out of it. I don't know what happens. I don't know what legally you can do in the court, but we should be printing our own money. Jackson got us out of it once. Trump is the guy to get us out of it again. So gold and silver down a teeny bit today. Nothing major today. All good. Silver's still sitting at 48. We know it's going to pretty much flatten around 50 probably. But again, when stuff moves as fast as it did, and it moved $11 in 1 month, this is concerning. That's like your record skipping, that's a big deal. Shouldn't happen. Something's wrong. You need to pay attention to what's going on. So please all do that. Stock markets, they're excited about what's happening, but not that big a jump. And I actually wanted to pull up the NASDAQ because if we go just, 3 years. So it's been up and up. I thought we had some downtime. Really? That doesn't seem right. 2022? Pretty good. I guess, when you bring it with inflation, it gets interesting. Nonetheless, it was done better than I thought. It's had a big jump there today. Again, this is the time I still think to get in precious metals. You got a chance to get out. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Price gold and silver it's going to go up again. So, now's the time to try to transfer some of your winnings into something that's going to hold value. It just does. It just holds buying power. Whatever your buying power is, whatever you could buy with the dollar amount you're thinking of moving out. Think about it. If it's enough money to buy a car, or if it's enough money to put a down payment on a home, if it's enough money to buy a home. Think about the fact that you could translate that into something that will still be worth the same value as a home or a down payment or a car 2-3 years from now. I don't know how long this is going to take. I think probably less, but I'm going to say 2 years from now. Because there's going to be a transition, getting out of the Fed, blaming them. Something's going to happen. There's got to be this pain point. So you would be protected from that. And then when we switch to the new currency, you're already going to have precious metals, so you're going to be able to switch over. You're going to be stoked. So if you've got a 401k or an IRA and basically 25 grand or more in it, you definitely want to consider this. You can get out tax-free, penalty-free. Okay, and this is how. It's physical metals, but they can't give it to you. If they give it to you, that's the payout. That's a payout. So any of these people that are telling you they can give you the metals, they're paying you out. They're paying you out, which means you're paying taxes and penalties. Okay, I don't know what they're saying or how they're selling it, but if they're giving the metals to you, that's a payout. There's no other way around it. Otherwise, it's illegal. So they do it sideways, and they get as much of your money over as they can into precious metals that go into a trust. Now, you can come back for those and ask for them later. It's a payout, and you might get penalized, but, well, I don't know how the penalized goes. It's a payout. It's an IRA. And again, there's going to be something. It's not going to be whatever. I'm not saying you should, but you can. Or you can certainly get some of those metals sent to you. They're physical metals. They're yours. You just move as much of them over sideways, tax penalty free. Helps you out. You're going to get some free silver. They're going to offer up to 10% depending on the dollar amount. You're going to get probably a free collector's coin. It's pretty cool. Ronald Reagan. It's really cool. It's a .999 silver. It's pure silver coin. It's beautiful, beautiful silver. $50. It's legal tender if you wanted to spend it and be stupid because it's worth much more than that. It's worth, I don't know, almost, what, $26 or so right now? Not bad. Not bad for a day's work. Just making a phone call, essentially, right? And they're also going to give you your awesome book on how you can protect your wealth in a precious metals IRA. DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. My good friends at Goldco, best customer service out there. I love them. They're the best out there, easily, hands down. I've been just in love with these people since I've been working with them. They have been so kind. I've actually wished I could get out there just so I could meet them, but it's a pain in the butt because they're literally a bunch of them are out in New York, and then there's one person out here, but he is so extremely busy in his own life, it's impossible. So again, just the way things are. Sometimes you work with people and you know, some of you guys, like, you watch me too much and you're like, I want to meet you. It's the same thing. Like, I want to meet people sometimes too. DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Did I say, once again, DRSlikesgold.com? Get the frick out of this. If you've got anything in a 401k or an IRA at this point and you're listening to me, 4 data points, quick phone call. Let's find out. You got nothing to lose. And you certainly, well, you got a lot to gain. That's for sure. A lot of people are stoked that they're doing it. This is kind of interesting. I guess I want to play these two videos. I'll play, I guess, top to bottom. I guess. Yeah, whatever. We'll do it that way.
Barack Obama himself wanted a big, beautiful ballroom. He had to hold a state dinner in a tent. In a tent! In a tent! In the United States of America. How stupid is that? This whole East Wing or whatever you call it, it was just a ruse to cover up a bunker. There's an underground bunker down there. That's the whole reason we have this East Wing in the first place. And Democrats had this whole epiphany. Remember the whole book that came out, Abundance? We have to be able to do things. We have to be able to build things. We have to be able to make things work. Okay, so Trump's building stuff and they're against it. They can't build anything. All they do is destroy. They destroy cities. They tear down statues. At least Trump's demolishing something and he's building it back up. Look at the Palisades.
And the other side of it is, I mean, never have we had a president that his profession was building buildings. Like, Trump builds buildings. That's what his company did. That's why they're all giant golden statues, right? That's what he does. He knows how to build. He makes sure good stuff is there. He put marble on sidewalks, I guess. I mean, he's made... thank God the Clintons aren't in office now because they'd steal the sidewalks. They stole silverware and they stole chairs or furniture or whatever. Here's so they built a bunker under this East Wing. That's why they built the East Wing, was so they could hide the fact that they were digging underground and putting in a bunker in case we got attacked. Overflights happened. You know, stuff like that happened. So this was an easy way to cover it. We've been smart about stuff for a long time. We only got smarter, right? So listen to what Trump's talking about when it comes to they're tearing down the original structure on top of the bunker.
This is an interior shot of the ballroom. I think there'll be nothing like it. And it's being paid for 100% by me and some friends of mine, donors, to it. The government's paying absolutely nothing. We're also working with the military on it because they want to make sure everything's perfect. And the military is very much involved in this. They want to make sure everything is absolutely beautiful. You can see the kind of interiors.
The military's involved, pray tell. Oh, because you want to make sure everything's perfect? There's going to be something interesting about this particular location, this facility. They're going to use the building of it probably to upgrade what's below. President will be insulated when the time comes. He'll be safe. Not necessarily in Air Force One, but that was always the presumption. Maybe he's got some sort of cool little hypertube that Elon Musk helped him build. Who knows? Who knows what crazy shit exists in the land of friggin' White House Oz? We're finding more and more every day. Now, it makes sense there's a bunker. We know there's an emergency room below, but, much more than that, nobody really knows. Israel would lose all of its support from the U.S. if it annexed Judea Samaria. A vote in the Knesset went through, which is, I think, controlled by the retards at the moment. Prime Minister's like the other side, I guess. It's hard for me to, because still just stuck in my brain. It's like, I don't trust this guy, but whatever. Save Israel for last. I keep thinking that too. I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but there's just something shifty, feels like shifty. Like him and Adam Schiff know something. The Knesset basically said they wanted to annex, which essentially would be to, I think, take control of this particular part, the West Bank. And Trump, to get the Abraham Accord thing to happen, basically told everybody, we will assure that Israel never annexes the West Bank. And so Trump basically said, well, J.D. Vance says, he just got back from there. This pissed him off.
When I asked about it, somebody told me that it was a political stunt, that it had no practical significance. It was purely symbolic. I mean, look, if it was a political stunt, it was a very stupid political stunt, and I personally take some insult to it. The West Bank is not going to be annexed by Israel. The policy of the Trump administration is that the West Bank will not be annexed by Israel. That will continue to be our policy. And if people want to take symbolic votes, they can do that. But we certainly weren't happy about it.
Yeah, no. Basically pissed us off. Long story short. The skinny of it, if I can say, as I'm just buying time to click buttons. I'm pretty sure this has no volume, but another drug boat got hit there. This one was at night, and this is just to scare the crap out of anybody that is trying to float around. Secretary Hegseth put this out, Secretary of War, which I don't, whatever. I mean, that's what they're doing right now. Overnight, at the direction of President Trump, the Department of War carried out a lethal kinetic strike on a vessel operated by Tren de Aragua, a designated terrorist organization trafficking narcotics in the Caribbean Sea. The vessel was known by our intelligence to be involved in illicit narcotic smuggling, was transiting along a known narco-trafficking route, and carrying narcotics. 6 male narco-terrorists were aboard the vessel during the strike, which was conducted in international waters, and was the first strike at night. All 6 terrorists were killed, and no U.S. forces were harmed in this strike. If you are a narco-terrorist smuggling drugs in our hemisphere, we will treat you like we treat Al-Qaeda. Day or night, we will map your networks, track your people, hunt you down, and kill you. And it is what's happening. Trump's anti-cartel task force has taken down over 3,000 violent criminals just here in the homeland, just since he's taken office. Promises made, promises kept. Sean Parnell, he made a statement today in support of the president's directive to dismantle transnational criminal organizations and counter narco-terrorism in defense of the homeland. The Secretary of War has directed the Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group, whole mofo group, and embark carrier air wing to the U.S. Southern Command area of responsibility. The enhanced U.S. force presence in the U.S. Southcom AOR will bolster U.S. capacity to detect, monitor, and disrupt illicit actors and activities that compromise the safety and prosperity of the United States homeland and our security in the Western Hemisphere. These forces will enhance and augment existing capabilities to disrupt narcotics trafficking and degrade and dismantle these transnational criminal organizations. We sent a strike group. You use that to attack countries. Now, when you attack countries, what do you attack? Their command and control, important things, radar, actual generals and crap like that. Any sort of forewarning, any sort of missile systems, stuff like that. Like that first level, that first tier. Again, not an expert, but I played a lot of video games. Learned a few things through those, I think, to some degree. I think that, frankly, they're training a lot of us with them. So anyway, I learned some stuff. All said. They are sending in a huge amount of force that would be able to strike in many ways. They've got tomahawks. They've got all sorts of stuff. They've also got craft. They've got jammers that would mess with anything they could possibly do. We would have precision accuracy. We could do drones constantly. We can support many things. And when I say drones, likely testing some of the newer technology. So when the Gerald R. Ford makes a quick little stop, I don't know if it's Texas or Florida, probably one of the two. Probably Texas, right? I don't know exactly where. But they'd pick up, obviously, fresh foods and stuff like that, right? They got to resupply. So they'll probably spend a couple days, get some extra fuel for the fuel carrier and all sorts of different things, missiles, stocking up. Right? There'll be a pretty hardy-duty setup there. And then it's going to go out with some new stuff on it. We're going to be screwing with the drug guys majorly. And we're going to be testing some new equipment. It's going to be pretty awesome. Tulsi Gabbard and her office, they aided in some of this cartel stuff.
Counterterrorism Center supported through actionable intelligence to both U.S. law enforcement as well as Mexican law enforcement the arrest of a Sinaloa cartel boss, El Plato, in Juarez, Mexico, as well as his top 3 money launderers. In a separate and recent successful interagency operation, NCTC worked closely with the U.S. Marshal Service that led to the arrest of another dangerous Sinaloa cartel member responsible for tracking a huge amounts of cocaine and hundreds of thousands of dollars in this single incident with drug proceeds through his network. I'll say the last example I'll share is probably the most insidious, was providing intelligence to the Mexican law enforcement that led to the arrest of a CJNG cartel-affiliated baby trafficker called La Diabla. Her whole money-making operation was centered around luring pregnant women, performing illegal C-sections, harvesting organs, and selling newborn babies. Mr. President, it's your leadership that has made all of this possible. I can tell you, in the midst of this government shutdown, our folks, like everyone around this table, are working 24/7 without pay and eager to get after this because they believe in your leadership and the mission.
She's like, but if you guys could seriously GoFundMe, just kidding, of course. But I'd be doing the same thing. I mean, heck, there's many a days, I don't make a dime either. It's the way it is. It's the game, it's played, but we do it. Now, again, I don't do horribly. You guys are awesome with the sponsorships. You help me tremendously every time you guys check out some of the incredible products I talk about. And I appreciate that. That is enormous for me. Thank you, guys. You keep the lights on, that's for sure. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth confirms that one of the goals of our military actions in the Caribbean is to counter the influence operations of China, Russia, and Iran.
With everything that's going on between the narco terrorists in the Caribbean, and then also with more Chinese, Iranian, Russian ships also taking part in Venezuela, are you have any plans of expanding operations out of Roosevelt Roads and in fact placing some home porting some ships there?
Yeah, go ahead, Pete.
We're familiar with the location that you're referring to, and we will make sure that we're properly displaced in order to deal with the contingency we're dealing with there, and also any ways in which other countries would attempt to be involved also. So we can walk and chew gum. We're definitely keeping our eyes on near-peer adversaries at the same time, but we think sending a message on these cartels, these narco-terrorists, is an important inside our hemisphere, which for far too long, other presidents, as the president pointed out, they've ignored our own backyard and allowed other countries to increase their influence here, which only threatens the American people. We're changing that.
And that's the proof we now have that we're doing this also. Big part is to put most of the time stuff that's optically, publicly talked about as far as military movements are meant for us to be like, hey, that's why they're there. Ultimately, it's usually for another reason. It's almost never what they tell us. In fact, I would probably arguably say it's never what they tell us it is, right? But we all believe it because it just makes sense, and we don't really know what the hell's actually going on in the big picture. That all assumed in this case, and likely true. Yeah, we're keeping China out. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think what's going to happen in a few locations, when China makes a move on Taiwan, because she probably needs to, when that happens, we will literally take complete and total control of the Panama Canal, because that's right where we're going to be. It's all right there. We'll take complete and total control of the Panama Canal again, and it will be ours. And anybody that disagrees will be like, man, and you're going to say or do what? And then from there, we might very well take control, or other people of possible influence will take control of other ports. And China's the CCP has caused a big problem for China, unfortunately, for the Chinese people. And the relearning for them is going to be tough because so many of them just believe a very wrong kind of concept when it comes to living with other human beings. I mean, they can get along with you. Don't get me wrong. They don't want to just like kill you, but they don't understand afterlife. They don't understand the concept of soul. There's so many things that culturally are so weird to them. And it's a difficult discussion, you know. A lot of people are like, just tell them about Jesus Christ. Well, it doesn't really go that well. Yeah. It's like, just might as well just bang your head against a wall too, you know. That'll work. Just they'd be like, why? What can I do to stop you banging your head? Tell me you love Jesus, you know. Right? I don't know. Maybe it'd work. Yeah, we played Sagseth. I don't need to play them again, I hope. This is significant in huge ways. Played down. I don't necessarily have the gumption to pull off explaining it properly. But the king and the pope prayed together in the Sistine Chapel. This is a historic reunification of the Anglican Church in England, or the Church of England, which used to be Orthodox but became all sorts of fucked up. And there's likely a rejoining, and this probably represents some contractual stuff. King Charles is not long for this world, obviously. Never was, frankly, but he's been here forever, somehow. Again, though, interesting. I don't know if they ever left. Maybe they've always stayed, because they're pretty Orthodox. The Greeks are Orthodox still. So again, the Vatican, I don't know if they control the Orthodox. I believe that kind of falls into some other specific popes. But this is an interesting symbology of the Church of England coming back to this group. Now, again, I was brought up Catholic. I'm under the impression this is the last pope. I don't know if the Catholic Church makes it through this. He seems pretty groovy, though. So, I don't know. Like, maybe he fixes it. That'd be cool. Like, I wouldn't be against that. But, yeah, I don't know. He's from America. From Chicago, oddly, which could be good and bad. And I'm sure there's lots of backstory. There's a crazy story that's floating around, once again, the Wall Street Journal, which was wrong last time. They keep floating a lot of fake news, interestingly, or they've got reporters that have really bad sources, which is funny. Or they're finding leaks, too. There's whatever. Pair of U.S. bombers, again, fly close to Venezuela. News at 11. Now we're using B-1 Lancers, the giant supersonic. Things are awesome. 4 F-16 engines. Each one of those is an F-16 engine. At least it was back in the day. I don't know. Maybe they've gotten better. You know, I haven't stayed up on the upgrades, if you will, but yeah, it was just cool as hell. It's like, this thing's fast as fudge. I knew people that worked at anyway, cool stuff. Yeah, anyway, it's a fake story. Clash Report was talking about it. 2 U.S. 1B Lancer bombers flew to Caribbean, then they turned off their transponders. This is, again, like, military attack craft. Like, I mean, generally, you just wouldn't turn the transponder on to begin with. Right? Like, you'd never want to show up on tracker radar and then disappear. That just looks weird. That's suspicious. You'd stay dark the entire flight. This tracker radar would never know about a military flight. This cracks me up. How many people are like thinking just because military craft show up on this, that somehow most military craft show up on it. No. And again, when stuff disappears, that's weird. They're doing it on purpose. They're causing attention to be drawn to the countries probably that they're fucking with, frankly, and then just the population. We talk about it. I do believe we talked about B-52s going over there. Now I'm starting to wonder if that story was ever true, but whatever. All said, Trump's like, yeah, no, it's a bullshit story. I thought that was... Yeah, but Trump said, no, it's not accurate. He was on an interview. It's false, but we're not happy with Venezuela for a lot of reasons, drugs being one of them. Yeah, so anyway, so now they're coming in by land. He's talking about them moving the product in other ways. EU is hell-bent on staying relevant and staying alive. They are going to starve to death for money. Personally, Germany is just a mess right now. Germany's a mess. Germany is toast. Germany's toast. I actually just want to say Germany has literally been defeated. They just don't realize it yet, but it's actually probably weeks away from the realization. Germany is defeated for, I guess, the third time. 96% of French public are dissatisfied with the state of their country. It's a poll, but 96% are pissed off. That's wow. Like, they literally just like, there was like a I hate France like rally, and they're like, hey, I want to ask a few of you guys a question. Do you hate France? Do you hate France? Do you hate France? You don't hate France? Really? I was hoping for 100%. Damn it. All right. 96% of everybody here, fucker. Anyways, still, fuck, 96%? Yeah. Si la n'est pas dommagé la mazez-vous doit deux. Nos éléments, voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? Je m'appelle Dan. Comment allez-vous? I don't know. There's so little French I know. And then I try to just take that little bit of French and like try to pronounce French words using that little bit of knowledge I have. I don't even know what it looks like to see comment allez-vous. I know how to say it. No idea what it looks like. Nobody wants to meet Wade Fool in China. This is the Germany foreign minister. Literally, he's like, China, I want to come down and talk to you guys. And we're like, nobody's, sorry, busy. Gink, 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 gink. I can't seem to get through to anybody. Yeah, nobody gives a fuck about Germany right now. No offense, Germans. I've had some good friends that were German. Feel bad for you. 72% of Danish gang crime convicts have a non-Western background. Anyone surprised? Yeah, this is... immigration's a weird thing. Like, people need to want to come to your country, not be just, like, allowed into your country, because then they don't care about your country. It's all about, I'm from Somalia. Like, what's her face? Omar. Russia-U.S. summit postponed. Russian president noted the idea of meeting in Budapest was initially suggested by Trump, and it was a good idea, but he realizes that he would have had to fly over two countries that hate him, and Trump's like, nah, well, it'll be cool. We'll fucking escort you in if we need to. Putin's like, you do that? And he's like, I'd totally do that, man. Like, I love you, man. Right, I'm sure they had a moment. Whatever. It went close to that, I'm pretty sure. Then they peed on the bed and everything. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Come on, people. You got to be able to laugh at this shit. So, yeah, it didn't happen. Reporter asks about this Russia immune to sanctions, Well, Trump basically says it, and he's right. And this is important because, they're all, sanction them harder. And he's like, what? Like, I've sanctioned the shit out of them. Europe's still buying oil from them. Literally. A bunch of countries in Europe still buy oil and gas from Russia. I've sanctioned Russia, and people in NATO are literally buying stuff that I'm sanctioning. Don't know what to do. It's insanity, right? Needless to say.
President Putin basically said today that Russia is immune from U.S. sanctions. He said that it would not impact the Russian economy in any serious way. Is he
good.
wrong?
I'm glad he feels that way. That's good. I'll let you know about it in 6 months from now. Okay, let's see how it all works out.
Again, these are games. And I think they know this is going to take a little bit longer. I think Putin's like, hey, we're going as quick as we can, but I'm not going to sacrifice a bunch of Russian lives just to do this. And so it's happening. They are steadily making progress, and it's going to end at some point. It's going to be Kiev losing, or Ukraine losing, or at least the parts of Ukraine that don't really want to be Russian anymore. Indian Commerce Minister is exposing Western double standard on Russian oil. Yeah, a lot of people are pissed off about the fact that, you're sanctioning us. You're giving us higher tariffs because we buy oil from Russia. We're also giving you higher tariffs, India, because you suck when it comes to our commerce. Let's not forget that either. Budapest will keep fighting EU Russian energy ban. Again, yeah, they're like, we buy stuff from them. So, fuck you, kind of a little, sort of. And they're, again, landlocked. It's not like they've got a port where they can get it easily. So they've got a pipeline straight to Russia that goes across land of other people that probably want to blow it up. I think they have attacked it before. Kiev and West are behind the delays in the peace talks. We're talking about Europe specifically. And they are 100% behind it. It's one could say it's problematic. But yeah, they want the war to go because EU dries up. This financing is what is keeping the deep state going. If the war stops, if Trump, see, wars, they always say wars help the economy. No, wars help the deep state. If there are no wars, first off, the loosh. I don't want to go too woo, but second, the economy. Us spending money on constantly blowing up other human beings is stupid. Yeah, we got to have some sort of defense, but we really shouldn't be attacking each other. And Trump's I don't need to blow you up. I disagree with you, so I'm going to charge you $12 more on your razors. It's like, okay, damn, that sucks. I'm going to have to buy my razors somewhere else. That's just too much. I can't afford that much for my razors. Overnight drone attack hits Moscow high-rise. Again, they got 5 drones in Kiev. 5 drones. They hit an apartment building. Maybe it was actually a legitimate target. I don't know. It killed 5 or injured 5, including a child, of course, always. And a nun. Whatever. It's always some, the worst thing. A lady and a nun, and there was a person in a wheelchair in there. It's just always the worst group of humans that you could... And a puppy, right? Fuck. Really? Damn you, Zelensky. A puppy? Fuck! And they zoom in out from him. Oh, I don't even have my camera on. Jesus, how much fun is that? Whatever. Dark. Deep state. Lula, he says he's going to run for a 4th term in Brazil. Criminal. They've got the other guy that would have beaten him in jail, so that's easy that way. I'm curious what's going to happen there. Something's got to break. That Supreme Court guy is a monster, and then of course Lula is a horrible individual. But we'll see. Their money's getting cut off. That much is for sure. U.S. has launched an investigation into China's compliance with the 2020 trade deal. Remember that deal they made with China, and then when Biden came into office, they didn't give a shit? Yeah, we're actually looking into, so this is, you broke the deal then. And you're doing all this other monkey business now, so why are we, what would we trust you for? No. You want to do all the precious earths and metals? All right. Here's the thing. When you talk about the technology that you're trying to hide from us, that you don't want us to have, to be able to manufacture and process these materials, are you talking about this one? And just hold a picture up of the thing that they've got. And you'd be like, this thing? Yeah, we've got 4 of them right now. We're building them by the day. Yeah, what do you think about that? These guys are fucked. China's fucked. Deep state's fucked. I feel bad for the Chinese people. It's going to be tough for them. They've suffered a lot. A lot of Chinese people have died through this process. They, granted, had a giant-ass population, but India's on that side of things too, interestingly. China refuses to congratulate conservative Japanese prime minister, lectures her about Taiwan instead. I bet she'd love that, especially being a woman and in China, women, nothing. A lot of fun there. Female spies are waging sex warfare to steal Silicon Valley secrets. Hell yeah. So I'm just going to say, guys, I haven't told anyone this, but seriously, I've got some top secret stuff in my room right now. Hovercraft technology. Nobody knows about this. It's top secret. Also, some of the newest algorithms with AI, they run them by me first. Yeah, no, I've got those. Those are also in my vault. I can't tell you where the vault is. Might be here, might be there. And I've also got some other top secret stuff. Alice Tang, just saying. Just... I don't know. India continues defense spending spree with the $8.8 billion package. Nice package. New missile surveillance systems, a lot of stuff, I think, from Russia and some other countries. I didn't recognize most of the stuff they were talking about in this particular purchase. Some of the other stuff I certainly did. The BrahMos missiles, those are a mixture. Also, they were talking about the T-90 battle tanks, which are pretty awesome. Though, India's got, like, what, zero experience with tanks? Like, seriously, do they have any tanks? And you're just going to start off with, like a Testarossa or like whatever, like right off the bat, really? I don't know. I don't mean to insult Russia if a Testarossa is not high enough quality. I just consider our shit better, whatever. But the T-90's rocking. That's a freaking awesome tank. They know how to make a tank. These guys do. China, Russia, and the U.S. make the finest tanks. I would say Germany used to be in there. Used to be. I don't know if they still are. They used to make really good tanks during World War II. Damn. And then even after. South Korea risks economic self-sabotage with a $1 trillion crackdown on U.S. tech giants. They're going after the tech giants hard. Lots of money that they're going after. Kind of strange. Could likely cost them a lot of money. So this, it's weird what's happening over there. And like part of it's because we're trying to be real dicks on China right now. And South Korea is one of our friends. And we're sort of making it hard for them to be friends with both of us. So yeah. I'm not sure if this is meant to be a thing where they're allowed to reunify and it gets us out of the way. That's just kind of a way we can back up. I don't know. I'm kind of curious. This is one I'm paying a little attention to. We'll assess my opinion as we move forward. This could just be some of the bullshit that we're doing to get China to behave too. So again, sometimes optics are optics, and well, optics that are pretty incredible. You guys remember the church shooting where they literally, the transgender individual was outside literally shooting through the glass, and a lady got hit in the head and everybody was talking about prayers. Well, good are prayers. We got to get the guns off the street. Well, prayers were happening. Church was happening. This chick got shot in the head. And here's her getting back to school. Oh my God. She's so stoked. She doesn't even have to wear anything but sweatpants anymore. That's incredible. But yeah, it's amazing that she's still alive. It's nice to have some positive news to end the show on. I love you guys. I'm about ready to do a kicking ass Kiss show. I'm excited about it. If you haven't, you should check it out on my channel. I've got a lot of my videos for music. Music's usually really, really super good. Some of my favorite songs, some songs I think that are just groovy. I don't know. I was a DJ for a long time, so I try to dabble in the programming of it sometimes. I make mistakes here and there for any real programmers out there, but I think for the most part I do a pretty good job building an hour. When you think about the energy and everything at the end, and right? I don't know. I've got a lot of thoughts that are going through my mind when I try to put the music together. I think it's a really good one this week, and I'm looking forward to doing it because, again, it's always a live performance, so you never know what could happen. It's fun. I love you guys. We're going to keep working through it, keep rocking and rolling, and we're going to keep moving forward. We're going to do it together. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.